Cool. Hi, everybody. Yeah, my name's Buzz. I'm going to share my screen now with you. And it's an unusual thing to be saying, but welcome from sunny Blackpool in the UK. And here we go. I'll just start the slideshow. So, yeah, I'm not so sure when Sandra introduced me at the very beginning, whether expert, I wouldn't necessarily use that term, but I'm certainly very familiar and I'm regularly using the platform. I'm always constantly learning, even though when I think I know everything. And even the other week when I was working with Nereus, I'm like, oh, we can do that. Great, fantastic. So I think it's an evolving, organic kind of process is the learning about the platform. So yes, I'm from an organization called Think Forward. I'm one of the directors, and they have myself, Steve, and Sharon. We're all three of us are youth and community backgrounds. Sharon has a background in policy and development, and Steve has a mental health and counselling NLP background. And myself, I'm also involved in the creative side and the arts programming. I call myself a creative meddler in Blackpool. So a little bit what we do as an organisation: community and youth work, professional and personal staff development. We train youth workers and community development workers in the UK, mainly in the Northwest, around where we are based, as well as delivering and realising some international projects. And of course, then we have project development, management and delivery. We've just concluded a programme working with NEET young people, for example, mainly young people who are homeless, looking at a program called Loving Work, which used a variety of different creative methods to engage young people in starting to think about work, not employability skills, starting to think about work. So, for example, we were doing things like work experience through VR. We were interviewing the young people through podcasting, and then using the podcast audio to create CVs for the young people. And then we were also doing a variety of other activities. And as it says there, also international youth work. We're one of the few organisations still in the UK we're able to participate and find pathways to take part in Erasmus Plus programmes activities. A little bit about Blackpool. It's a seaside, sunny resort today. It has lots of theme parks, lots of entertainment. It's known as the entertainment capital of the North. Population of approximately 150,000. But once people realised they could get guaranteed sunshine in Spain, in Portugal, and everywhere else in the world, and flights became more available, Blackpool started to go down as the main hub for holidays, and also that brought some of its problems, which was regularly at the top of the league table for youth homelessness, the lack of school retention, and also achievement, and as well as drug dependency and all those kind of things. So this makes it quite a unique thing, which it's also seasonal. So our population, whilst 145,000, that can go up to like 165,000 in the summer, where people return home from college, universities, and all those kind of things, and also work in the entertainment industry. So, development and growth, Blackpool City of Learning. We started with some national funding in the UK, which was the Community Lottery Fund. And one of the first pilots we did was the Arts Award. Now, the Arts Award is a national programme of recognition of young people's journey in the arts. It's not about how well they can play the guitar or how well they can paint or how well they can perform and sing. It's about their journey in the arts. And the great thing about this, it's on the qualifications framework in the UK. And myself and Sandra, many years ago, she was talking about how we have a past. We once also delivered an Arts Award Bronze programme in South Africa, where young people achieved their level 1 qualification in the arts. So that was a really worthwhile project as well. So local delivery partners include, for Blackpool City of Learning, there's many youth organisations. So the Magic Club, it's not all about magic, but it's a youth centre based in the old Magic Centre. And then there's Left Coast, which is an arts and community organisation. The Platform, don't get that confused with the Platform, City of Learning, but the Platform is a careers and guidance service for young people 16 to 25-year-olds. Urban Organic is an environmental organisation. Street Life is the young homelessness organisation. Electric Sunshine Project, that is a community theatre-based project. Antisocial is an arts and creativity programme and organisation, and Abingdon Studios is an art studios for emerging artists and national artists in exhibitions in Blackpool. And our international partnerships and projects in the past, one of them, more recent ones, 21st Century Skills online for young people. That was all about increasing employability and career pathways. And we're presently just coming towards the end of this year for the virtual reality in cities of learning. We've been looking at using VR as a way of engaging with young people in co-creation processes and also learning pathways, and also supporting youth workers in exploring alternative and virtual worlds of learning. So that's a little bit about what we're doing now and what we've done in the past. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you a couple of lists of 21st Century Skills playlist examples, but I'm going to focus in particularly on one, which is the Arts Award. And then the second one is from one of our partners, the platform, which is called Give Me 5. And that's 5 essential skills for employability. So here you can see some more of the other ones on the Blackpool City of Learning platform. There's the Tenants Voice podcasting, where we were getting people living in community accommodation to share their views. Netiquette, which is about online safety. Values and ethics. That's a personal values and ethics. What are essential for employability? What do you believe is honesty, integrity, and those kind of things. Working with others. Quite often we talk about working internationally as well, but also then the Open Arts Award, which I'm going to talk about now. So I'm going to just stop sharing this one. And then I'm also going to share just wait with me for a couple of minutes once I find the link. And now sharing my screen with the Arts Award. So as I mentioned, the Arts Award is a national recognised qualification in the arts. There is 5 levels. There's Discover, which is basically self-recognition of I'm starting to think about the arts. There's Explore, Discover and Explore, which is an entry-level qualification. Then there's Bronze, which is the one I mentioned before, which is a bronze level qualification, is on the qualifications framework in the UK as a level 1. Then there's Silver Arts Award, which is a qualification framework level 2. And then level 3 is the Gold Arts Award, which also comes attached to it some entry points to get you to be able to support you getting into university. Now, one of the benefits of us doing this in Blackpool also was that quite a lot of the jobs could be in the entertainment, the arts and cultural sector. So going into it where young people can say, I've got a level 1 qualification in the arts, could also support them in getting a job in the future, particularly for whether that be for the summer period or anything like that. So in the Open Arts Award thing there, you can see here a little bit of a description. What is the Arts Award? How is it nationally qualified? Where does it look at any costs that are going to be incurred? Because there is not an exam, but where we have to be a qualified advisor to be able to assess young people's work. So then the first activity is Arts Award Bronze, Ambition and Me. Why do they want to start doing their Arts Award Bronze? That's the question we ask them. We ask them to give us a little bit of a description. You can see here, yeah, it's very clear what tasks we're asking them to do. Take a selfie. How have you developed your interest in the arts? What have you done before? Document and understand why do you want to do it? And also how it would make you feel after you've achieved it. Yeah. So that's what we ask people there. Then these are mandatory parts, and it says that there very clearly, is because this is what's required by the national programme. They have to take part in an arts activity and record their learning. And the great thing of what we love about the Cities of Learning platform is that young people can submit audio, video, written, photographs, and everything else. So it's really as part of their evidence. And we're able then to collect the evidence for each individual and create a portfolio for them, should that be needed. Because Trinity College London, who are our examination board, so to speak, they would also require and assess certain individuals' evidence. So we would use their evidence that they provided in creating a portfolio. So they have to document them taking part. Then, being the audience, they can go to a gallery, a live music performance. They could even observe and watch a busker on the street, or maybe go to a theatre production. And as long as they provide evidence, a photograph of them being there at the theatre, being them at the event, a photograph of the programme, of their ticket, and then they write and share what they thought about it, that is enough evidence for a level 1, being the audience. Then there's a thing called arts inspiration. This used to be called heroes and heroines of the arts world, but now it's called arts inspiration, because they realize that it's not necessarily sometimes people that are the art inspiration, but actually the music or the painting. And that then sends people down this route of discovering an arts world. So this is who or what is your arts inspiration. So we're encouraging young people here to basically, if I have a look here, we're asking them to provide evidence, do some research, find out describe who they are, create and share a poster of the person and what they found out about them, and then share that with one of their peers, their parents or guardians, and anyone else. And as soon as they provided evidence that they shared it, that's enough for that section. And share an art skill is the final part, where we ask them to step in to a little bit at a low level into teaching other people an art skill. That could be anything from teaching their grandma how to use Photoshop, how to use video editing, how to write a song, how to write a poem. It could be anything, as long as it's a skill they feel comfortable in sharing and supporting somebody else doing it. In the past, we've had young people teaching a whole class a certain dance routine, or singing a certain song, or collectively painting a group mural on one of the walls of the school. And that's it. Share photographs, evidence of them, and also get some feedback from the people who've experienced the Skillshare, and then accept and work with how you understand the feedback. And that is basically it on the Arts Award. That's a level 1 qualification. And once the young people's done that, we assess the work, make sure it's up to the standards that's required, and then we submit for what's called a moderation. Yeah, so that's basically what we do. And as I've said, one of the great things we like about the Arts Award, and also Cities of Learning, which is fairly similar, the Arts Award have a process. There's no such thing as fail, only it didn't meet the standard, please improve. And when you assess the evidence, you're able to do that within the platform. So you can ask for, if people have submitted a photograph, but it doesn't say anything of what they've achieved, then you can ask, say, can you describe what's going on in the photograph and how that made you feel? And maybe that's enough then for them to get it. The next one I would like to share is Gimme 5. And I'll just go on to sharing this. So Gimme 5, as I mentioned before, is done by the platform. It's a project, it's one of their first 21st century skills programs that they delivered. They identified 5 essential skills for employability, and they created a playlist with badges and a whole range of things that they could do. And as you can see from the skills down the side here, demonstrate confidence, individual initiative, adapt to change, carry out internet research, nurtures optimism. And these are all the skills they should be able to demonstrate by achieving these badges. There you can see how the badges connect. Yeah. And they've done it by 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. And once you've got all them, then you get the overall badge, Gimme 5, from the platform. They've been able to use their own branding and marketing to create the badge and the way the visuals look as well. And the first the first activity they identified was resilience. They asked people to watch a video and then also respond to that video in how and what they felt about watching the video. Another one is about routine. Quite often, some of the young people who are not in employment, education and training, it's about developing habits, good habits, and about routine and waking up in the morning. So that encourages them to think about that. What are their routine and habits that they have, the good ones, and how to build positive habits. Then there's being able to work on their own initiative, or being proactive, as some people call it now as well. Yeah, that has this again. Most of these have videos to be able to watch and allow people space and time to reflect on that. And confidence in a variety of settings. This is about how identifying areas and situations you feel confident in, and then those that you don't, and how you can look to improve in those areas. And then this one is all about the personal habits, which is all about managing. Little basic introduction here. If you look at this one as the activity, watch the video of the 9 good habits. Which ones would you be easier for you to do? And there you can see a link to the video that's embedded in. And then why do you think personal habits are a good thing? Why and when could they be a bad thing? Can you identify your own habits? How did they become your habits? And are they good and bad? So, and ask other people what they think your personal habits are. So it really, as the learner or the young person, and this has been really good because they've been able to start finding out things about young people they didn't know. Because quite often within the career service in the UK, it's about box ticking, numbers, how they're managing it, rather than thinking about progression and supporting a young person to start developing the skills for employability. And that is a whistle-stop tour into 2 different activities on the platform, one from Think Forward, which is about the arts, and one from the platform. I'm going to stop sharing now and give you a chance to ask some questions.